I'm accustomed to moving my hands a lot when I speak. This is amazing. Having heard all of your career aspirations, it's quite amazing to hear all that you wish to do. I see some familiar faces in the room. Hi, Anna. Hi. And I've seen some of your faces in the hall. You had French across the hall from me earlier today, so it's really nice to see you here. It kind of helps bring my nerves down a little bit. So, as it says, my name is Esther Theodore. Most of my life was spent here. You want to be a teacher? I got my eyes on you. Most of my life was spent here in Stanford. My education comes from Connecticut, and so I'll walk you through not only what it means to be a teacher now, but also what it meant for me to start this journey. Outside my door, some could attest to this, is the quote that's at the bottom of that screen. And it basically says, "It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." And that's my philosophy. I believe you guys are amazing people, and I love working with kids. I love learning from you as much as I love teaching you, and that's the joy of my day. So, you get to see me through my progress. I brought the pictures in because I want you to see that I'm not the old lady that I am right now. I've not always been like this. This is my journey. Throughout my life, I wanted to do different things, right? In my early years, I was quietly curious. I was a very shy child. But my grandmother was the woman that inspired me. I believe she was my first true teacher, okay? And she demonstrated teaching to me in the most natural way. When I was in kindergarten, I wanted to be a pediatrician, and Miss Margaret was my kindergarten teacher that impacted my life, and I still remember her. Down below the black and white, that's me in the hallways, Trinity Catholic High School, with a friend or two, and I wanted to be a Broadway star. I would sing and dance and do all of that stuff. I was in theater throughout my high school career, and that was really what I wanted to do. And I still love Broadway musicals to this day. At the top is my senior picture. And then, going into college, I wanted to be a child advocate. Lawyer, psychology, all of that. Political science was a big interest for me at that time, and I pursued every single one of these things. And the teacher that inspired me the most in college was Dr. Long. Down in high school was Miss Linton, and down here is me after I graduated with my bachelor's degree. I graduated with a degree in psychology, women's studies, and religion. I went into business, and I auditioned for American Idol around the time of that picture. I still wanted to keep singing. And the person that was a teacher to me at that time was Mr. Hughes. He was my boss, but he taught me a lot about finances. He taught me a lot about the business world, and that was who influenced me. Throughout my life, I've been influenced by multiple teachers. And I think for me, and I find that to be true of most teachers, there are teachers that impacted us, and we want to impact students in that same way. And hence why we are in the field. Why this career? I have been teaching since I was maybe 12 years old. And I say that because I taught Sunday school, I volunteered in college and high school, in middle school. I was always around children. I love kids. Loved them, loved them, loved them. Working with kids was so natural to me that I never considered that it could be a career. It's what I did. It's what I did on the side. It's what I did to earn money. But I never considered it a career. So I always thought teaching, not me. I mean, I'll do it, but it's not really what I want to do. And as you can see, I wanted to do biology, psychology, political science. I was pre-law for some time, business, and then I became a teacher. I stopped at one point in my life and I evaluated all the steps all the phases of my life, and I realized I have been teaching for a long time. And so I started subbing, and then I became a para, and then I was told, you need to go to school and do this because you're pretty good at what you do. And so I did. As it says, I love children and young adults. I'm a lifelong educator. It is a talent, and I love to impact, and it brings me so much gratification to work with the population that I work with. And I mentioned a few other people that impacted me, but I can name several teachers throughout my career or my life that have impacted me. And it's a way to give back. I was an ESL student in Stanford Public School, so to be an EL teacher in that same district is such a fulfilling part of my day. Like it just feels like I've come full circle. So as I mentioned, the decision to become a teacher was a career change for me. And it came with ease, it was fulfilling, it brings me joy, and I pursued the certification process. So I had embedded a video in here to show you what it means to be an ESL teacher. I'll basically explain it. An ESL teacher is somebody who, you don't have to speak the languages that you teach. I teach children or students that speak Arabic, that speak Ukrainian, that speak Spanish, that speak multitude of languages. I don't speak those languages. I understand some of them because I've been exposed to them for so many years that I have a sense of certain words, right? But to be an ESL teacher is to be somebody that makes the curriculum accessible to students. I am trained to present social studies, English, everything else that you learn in school in a way that allows you, if you are a language learner, to have access to that. So you don't feel shortchanged because you are not able to understand the language that's in the text. You're not able to understand the language of the person speaking to you. My training allows me to help students learn social studies even if they don't speak English. It allows me to help students learn algebra even if they don't understand the word problems. It helps me help students understand science even though they don't understand the text that's presented to them. And having had that personal experience in the field as a student really does help me understand a lot of what it means for my students to sit in a classroom and go through that. Anybody here speak a different language? Raise your hand if you speak it. Raise it high for me. Awesome. What languages do you speak? What do you speak? Yeah, I say Kaila, but Haitians, Creole, Spanish speakers. Awesome. Any other language that I'm not thinking of? What language? Polish. I have students that speak Polish. Awesome. Right, very good. Very diverse. Stanford has over 72 languages spoken in the district. Stanford High has 64 countries represented at the school. So we're very diverse. And we tell every teacher this. All the teachers at Stanford High are trained to be EL teachers. You will have about 30 hours of training. So every teacher is trained in that capacity because we have so many students that are EL students. All right, why do I like this field? I put likes and dislikes, okay? For every field, there are likes and dislikes. So let me talk to you honestly about what it means to be a teacher, what I like. I'm certified in K through 12. That means I teach all kids. I can teach kindergartners and I can teach high school students. I prefer high school, okay? I've taught kindergarten, I've taught first four. I prefer high school. That's my preference and I'm entitled to it. You work with people, you're in control of your classroom. You know, we joke that once the door is closed, I'm in charge. You know, right? Miss Karina's in the room, she's a teacher and she's cracking up in the back. We all live for the aha moment. You guys are students, you spend a lot of time in school. You know that moment when you get what they're talking about? Yes, right? You're like, oh, now I get it. For us, it's like, yes, now they get it. We live for that. That's the high and the highlight of our day, okay? We get to guide and impact new generations. It means the world to us. Like when you think back, you're gonna think about the people that made you feel like you could do it, and we hope that it's one of us. It gives us opportunity to grow in our field. Teaching is, once you start teaching, you can become an administrator, you can be a lead in your school. There's so much that you can do as a teacher. It's not just being in the classroom, okay? There is certification, which means that there's options and there's validity to my work, which means that I can go somewhere else and do exactly this work because I'm certified to do the work, okay? The state says I'm certified. The country knows that I'm certified. I've gone through the process. And there's so much more to it. There's just being in school and just the multitude of ways that we can impact your lives. There's just so much more. The dislikes. The hours are endless. I feel like I never stop working, right? I have homework regularly because I have to, plan, and I have to make sure your work is corrected and your grades are up so that you don't go to me and go like, Miss, I don't understand that. I don't know what I'm getting in this class. So we have to make sure that that information is up to date. I don't get to go to the bathroom. I know that some of you roam the halls in your schools, but teachers are always in front moving. We don't get to go to the bathroom. We don't get bathroom breaks. So you might go to the bathroom once in a 6-hour day, okay? If you're that lucky or blessed. We cannot travel on our own terms. What that means is during the school year, we don't get to leave. We have to be here. We're contracted to be present, right? We can't take vacation and be like, if my friend says, I found tickets and let's go to Miami or something, I can't. I'm teaching. I'm supposed to be present. Preparation is imperative, so you have to be prepared to come before your class. And you as students know what it's like when the teacher is not prepared. You're like, what are they? What is this? You roll your eyes. So we have to be prepared. I don't always get respect. That is true, because I know I don't get it all the time, I work very hard to be amicable and to be relatable with any student in my building. And that means before I yell at you in the hallway, I do introduce myself. I tell you who I am. I tell you what I'm desiring, because I feel like you too don't always get respected. So I know in my life that I was taught in order to get respect, I must give it. So that's something that I live by. It's a lot of hard work. Teaching is not just teaching. It is not just standing in front of that classroom. There's PPTs, there's meetings that are happening, there's trainings, it's constant teaching of us to teach you. So it's a constantly evolving process. You don't just teach and go do the work. You are trained, there's new rules, there's new regulations, there's new desires by administration. It's constantly changing. And there is just so much more. It's just more than just being in front of everybody. All right. For those of you that desire to be teachers or consider maybe, the traditional route to teaching is that you go to college. You have to go to college to teach for a book, okay? You go to a 4-year college and then you go through, oh, really? No way. That fast? I have 1 minute. Oh my goodness. I'm moving along. So you go to college, okay? And then that's the traditional route that you go to college with the intention to teach, and you go through an educational process of that sort. The other thing that you can do is go to college and graduate with a different degree and decide that you want to teach then. And that means that you can go through these programs here. You have Teach for America, you have ECE Art program for preschool, you have ARC and Relay program. Those are for people that already graduated from college with the degree but now decide that they want to teach. The state of Connecticut, and like many other states in the country, have a shortage of teachers. So we are desperate to get teachers into the classroom. These routes here highlighted the cost of each route and what each involves. I'm hoping that you guys are afforded a copy of the presentation without my picture, but you are afforded that and you will get that information. But lastly, I want to talk about this, and I'll take a little bit more than 30 seconds to do that. Ed Rising is a program that exists in Stamford Public Schools, especially in Stamford High School. It does not exist at AITE and West Hill yet. But Ed Rising is in multitude of schools in the country, and it is effort to recruit people like you, young people like you, who are in high school, who are considering to become educators. And as such, you enroll in this program. It's a 2-year program. You can start early, but it's a 2-year program. And what it guarantees is that if you complete that program, you get your certification. If an opportunity opens up, meaning a job is opened in the district Stamford, you are guaranteed an interview for that opportunity because you have that certification. A shortage of teachers in all areas. We'll hire you if you have a pulse. That's the joke right now. But the truth of the matter is, as high school students, if you say, you know what, I want to be a teacher, get into this program and go through it, go through the training, right? Thanks for your time. My gosh.
All right, one more time, put your hands together for us, everybody.